I'm Bill Elliston, and welcome to the 35th Lifetime Sea Otter Classic presented by Continental. We are live from the Laguna Seca Raceway, getting ready to kick off the 4th year of the Lifetime Grand Prix. It's the first of 6 brutal stops in the series, bringing endurance, skill, and strategy to the line, all with $380,000 in prize money on the line. Big changes for 2025 in store. Sea Otter moving from a mountain bike race to a gravel race this year, shaking up our series right from the start. And of course, if you see behind me, you see the fog soaking in the Laguna Seca Raceway here. It's pretty cool. This morning, we anticipate things warming up a little bit, and hopefully the fog's starting to burn off a little bit later on. Tim, tell me what you think. What do you think about our course out here today?
Well, there's a lot of changes in 2025, with the switching from mountain biking. So for the first time, the Lifetime Grand Prix racers will take on a gravel race here at Sea Otter. So that's a huge change.
Well, let's talk about some of the riders. We've got a lot of great riders to watch out here. We've got returning champions. We've got a lot of new riders in the mix. Who can we expect to shine out here on our new gravel course?
Well, at least on the men's side, there's no one to really talk about as an overall favorite except for Keegan Swenson. He's been the winningest rider in the Lifetime Grand Prix, 3-time overall champion, and he lines up today as the race favorite. However, the fight for the podium last year really brought Matthew Beers from South Africa as one of his major contenders. Big power, strong rider. And Payson McElvain had the best overall finish of his career in 3rd last year. So those are my favorites on the men's side. Lauren, what are you thinking?
For the women, for sure, you have to look at Sofia Villafañe coming back, winning hand in hand again. Haley Smith was 4th here last year, and everyone's knocking on the door, really trying to knock Sofia off that top step.
We've also got a new course out here this year. Of course, we've now gravel. We've been mountain bike historically here at Sea Otter. So a big change with a gravel event. Tim, what's some of this course like this year? What's the newest things that we can expect?
So we're here in Northern California, right on the ocean, and this is Laguna Seca Raceway, which is a famous motorcycle and car racing track. This start line is really familiar to a lot of the riders. It's an expo filled with thousands of people, but this is all about how this course is going to ride. A huge, fast descent to kick it off before heading into the kind of meat and potatoes of the race. Short climbs, really intense.
Again, talking to a lot of the riders yesterday when they were previewing the course, and it's that first descent that a lot of them are going to be really nervous and keyed in on as they then go out on course and then coming back on Barlow Canyon Road, also with Lookout Ridge. Again, another key factor of the race, 2.7 miles, steep, fast, fun, and exciting racing all day today.
Well, you snuck right past that single track section at the beginning of Lookout, and that's really the most technical part of the course before getting into the finish line, where hopefully we've got a group. It'd be great to see a sprint finish in a gravel race like this before dropping back into Laguna Seca. Is actually going to be a 180 turn with just 200 meters to the finish line. I mean, you got to be first out of that corner to be able to put your hands up at the finish.
Well, we've got a new few key components this year to the series, the first of which is the wild card. So we've got 44 athletes in total in the series, 22 men, 22 women. But with the wild card, we're going to add some riders as the series progresses. Walk us through a little bit about what that means with the wild card.
Yeah, so the wild card is great because it really gives a chance for riders who are fighting for those final spots in the series. We accepted 22 riders this year instead of 25. To be able to save those last 3 spots for the riders who come out of the blocks hard, do well at Sea Otter, do well at Unbound, and then they're brought into the series with the points that they've earned. So all of a sudden, we've got a shake-up in the standings. I think it's going to be great for the fans and good for the riders.
So, Lauren, we've also got another key component this year. That's our under 23 category, and that's great because it's going to kind of present us with a different scenario of a race within a race out there. So tell us a little bit more about this new under 23 division.
I absolutely love this U23 program happening here. We have so many dynamic races within the race, like you're talking about, Bill. And you have someone in the women's side like Ruth Holcomb. She is a stellar mountain biker coming over, doing the Lifetime, trying to get her hand right in there. And this is just another race to follow and going to be a lot of fun and very animated. Tim?
Yeah, no, I wish, having the chance to be able to climb the ladder in professional cycling is really important. The Lifetime Grand Prix is really the world-class gravel series of, out there, and everyone wants a chance to get into the series. So the winner of that category will get a spot in the 2026 series. So huge prize up for grabs.
Hey guys, I'm here with Paige Onweller just for a quick question. I know you're warming up. Last year, you were broken at this race. You're coming back, good form. How are you feeling? How are you expecting for the day?
Yeah, I'm super pumped to be here. When you're injured last year, you really miss it. So just being here is a huge blessing and a lot of gratitude to line up. New course, a lot on the line with the format changes this year. So, yeah, I'm just excited to see how it pans out and still have a long season ahead. So it's a good benchmark to kind of suss out where everyone's at and go from there. So, yeah.
Awesome, Paige. Thank you so much. Have a great warm-up. Good luck.
I think it's going to be key being a veteran or a newcomer. Are you learning on the go, or do you have your game down? So can't wait to see what's going to happen out there.
We are underway, ladies and gentlemen. Make a little noise. 2025 Lifetime Grand Prix starts right now with our lead man on the course.
I can't wait to see what's happening up there. Attacking, getting into that first descent in the right position. This is like a spring classic here in Northern California.
If you're not in the front third, your race could be over. It's going to be a long day.
Yeah, I remember watching Alexey Vermeulen just attack like crazy last year to try and get up there on a mountain bike. Now that everyone's on a gravel bike, it's just a different ballgame. Tactics are really going to come into play throughout the day. Do you burn your matches now to be safe for later, to stay in the race? Do you get caught up by a crash or something like that? And the gravel is pretty sketchy with the ruts. There are holes in there, the erosion that this course sees throughout the year.
Oh, man. And, the sun has just popped out, like perfect timing, just the start of our men's race, and I can't wait for the start of the women's race. I'm just so excited. I cannot explain how excited I am right now, Tim. I'm glad I'm not racing anymore, but this is as close as I can get to it.
I second that, believe me. I second that.
Having all the fans out here, having the expo right behind us, there's so much to see here at Sea Otter, at the Laguna Seca track. It's just like the corkscrew. It's just like everything right now. It's like the Super Bowl of bike racing.
The formalities are all done for the morning. Everyone is on the line here anticipating the start of the 2025 Lifetime Grand Prix here at the Sea Otter Classic. The women all ready to go. And I'll tell you, it is going to be a great season. Remember, we are starting off with a whole new dynamic. It is gravel racing starting off the Grand Prix this year, and that is guaranteed to bring a whole new element to the way the season unfolds. And by and large, all the feedback we've gotten this week so far has been thumbs up about this new gravel course here. 3 laps, 30 miles, nearly 10,000 feet of elevation, getting ready to start right now in 3, 2, 1. Lifetime Grand Prix 2025 women are officially underway, and it is going to be a big sprint around this first corner as they head up the paved hill on the track here. Everyone has done their recon. They know that first technical element is going to be coming up very shortly. They all want to fight to be in the front in that section, so it is going to be a raging battle right from the start. Bill, we are here live on the main stage of the Lifetime Sea Otter Classic. We are a little over, probably about 18, 19 miles into our elite men's race right now. What it's looking like is a pretty substantial lead group. Looks like we've got Actually, they've just crossed through the 22-mile checkpoint, so fresh update right here for you. So you see one of our riders having a little bit of a mechanical, trying to identify who that rider is. That looks like it's Payson McKelvin in that fresh new Allied, having just a little bit of a problem on his bike. He was stopped. He was off the bike, a little bit slow going now as we try and figure out what's going on, but it looks like he may be losing contact with that lead group right now. Keegan Swenson, one of our main riders, of course, your defending champion, notably about 10 seconds behind this lead group right now, along with Matt Beers. So, and Peter Vakoch is kind of leading the cruise through. We've got a number of riders in that group. Looking down, it looks like we've got about 13 riders in that front group. A lot of the hitters that you might expect in that group. Toby Rode up near the front end of that. The French rider Hugo Drachot. The Czech Peter Vakoch leading the group, though they're still running a heavy 20 miles an hour. Remember, our last time check, they were up around 23 miles an hour. So obviously they're getting to that deeper portion of the course. They've got a lot of uphill as they run through. So that pace starting to come down just a little bit as the camera really backs out to get that big view. But what we do know is we've got about 13 riders in that front group right now. They're very quickly closing in on the tail end of lap number 1 of 3. We are back from the main stage with an update from our women's standings here in the Lifetime Grand Prix, round number 1. And the big shakeup going on right now. We've got one rider off the front with a 20-second gap. That is one of our new riders to the Grand Prix. That is Axel Dubois-Prevost, the French rider from Europe. Her first time in the Grand Prix. And I'll tell you what, she means business. She's got a 20-second gap right now over a huge chase group. Looks like we've got about 25 riders or so in that chase group, 21 seconds behind. That group being led through that second time split at 15 miles by Courtney Sherwell. You got Whitney Allison in there, Emily Newsom, Cecile Lejeune, Caroline Rezin, of course, last year's champion Sofia Gomez Villafañe, among others. So right now, the French rider, the new rider to the Grand Prix, absolutely throwing caution to the wind. Only 15 miles into this 90-mile race. She's got a 20-second gap. We're looking back at the rest of the women's field right now, and they are kind of spread out a bit, shoulder to shoulder. Nobody's really chasing. Some interesting dynamics going on right now. 20-second gap over about 20 or 25 riders.
Hey everybody, Tim Johnson here, just at the top of Lookout Ridge, and I just witnessed such a brutal acceleration right at the base of this thing. It was a group of about 30 riders. Matt Beers took over just as they started to slide into the lower pitches that are like really steep, super rutted, and pace ratcheted up. Keegan was right on his wheel. So the group of 30 went to about 7. As we got to the top here, Simon Pellaud, one of the newer riders in the Grand Prix, Swiss like breakaway superstar, he was struggling to stay on the wheel. I think he was about 10 seconds off at the top, but yeah, the pace is picking up. Second lap has started. They're probably about 10 miles in. I'm going to go catch up with them in a minute.
What a day already. We're only one lap in, and it's nothing but attrition. We're constantly having athletes off the back, coming back on, moments of sitting up, pressure up and over some of the climbs out of Bartley Canyon, and then you have this beast to finish it off. It is brutal out here, and they are putting it to each other. Heck, Cecily Decker, Sofia Villafañe, 2 names constantly at the front. Haley Batten continuously at the front of this race, making it animated.
We've got our women into sight as they make their way down into the course proper. We know Haley Batten is in that group as well. And here they are coming around the turn. 5 riders, 1 just off the pace a little bit as we're going to see that first rider tripping our camera here in just a moment. They make their way onto the pavement. I see our defending champion in that mix. So we've got Haley Batten, we've got Cecily Decker, Melisa Rollins, Sofia Gomez Villafañe, Hayley Preen in that mix. Coming on through, Lauren Stevens and Alexis Escarda. So what a great mix we've got as they come through right now. Our lead rider on the front, that is Cecily Decker. She was the rider doing all the driving going up that climb. We were trying to identify her. We couldn't quite see that number, but those last 2 miles uphill, she absolutely was the one doing the damage, causing that split. They are now heading back up the hill. They look like they're unified. Everyone taking on a little bit of nutrition. Going to be so important as they come through there. Paige Onweller making her way through as well. Aaron Huck also coming through. So those riders only about 20 seconds behind. So right now, the big story is we've got 6 women in the lead after 1 lap of racing. Cecily Decker out of Santa Fe, New Mexico, driving the train, along with Melisa Rollins, Sofia Gomez Villafañe, Hayley Preen, Lauren Stevens, and I believe just a few seconds down, we had Alexis Escarda. So that is your leading group right now. Third of the way through our race. 1 lap down, 2 laps to go for our elite women. Round number 1 of the 2025 Lifetime Grand Prix.
So Simon here getting a good head start onto Lookout. First time up, still warming up to today's race. Was on the back of the lead group with a small gap, but showing a lot of tenacity and fight to stay on there. Probably one of the riders with the most race days in his legs. 25 race days in his legs. This is a collaborative commentary with Simon, Swiss rider, spending a lot of time in Colombia with his wife, got married last December. Making a huge impression on the Grand Prix series right now with this lead.
We are live here at the stage with our update for our men's race. We are at the 51.8 mile checkpoint, so clearly we are well into the second half of our race so far. The big news is the man who was tail gunning for the better part of probably about 44 miles, Simon Pellaud out of Switzerland. He is off the front, a minute 24 gap solo. The second half of the race is really where things take shape, and just like clockwork, that's exactly what's going down here. Yes, we are just past the 52-mile marker here in round number 1 of the 2025 Lifetime Grand Prix here at the Sea Otter Classic. We are coming up on our 59.6 kilometer check mark out on the course. We're going to check in with our SBLI leaderboard. Right now, we've got Cecily Decker in the lead, driving the pace. Also in that group, we've got Haley Batten, the Olympic silver medalist in the mountain bike event, who's looked very strong so far today. Melisa Rollins, last year's upset winner at the Leadville Trail 100. And, of course, we've got last year's winner overall of the Lifetime Grand Prix, Sofia Gomez Villafañe, among others in the group. Hayley Preen in there as well. Caroline Rezin, Alexis Escarda also in that group. We've also got Excel Dubois-Prevost, Paige Onweller, Lauren Stevens, Cecil Lejeune. That is 11 riders in the front group. So if you remember, when they wrapped up lap number 1, we only had 6 riders, but we had a couple sets of riders chasing. They've obviously made contact. They've made the connection to that front group because we had talked about it, and there was a lot of disorganization, I guess we would call it, going on in that front group. Once they had gotten over that climb to descend into the venue, everyone kind of looking at each other, kind of riding on opposite sides of the course, taking in a little hydration. Nobody really willing to lead that charge, and, well, all that did was allow the chase to come back up. Current situation in our women, they should be hitting that 44.5 mile checkpoint in just a few moments. 11 riders in that lead group just before the halfway point of round number 1 of the Lifetime Grand Prix. Just like that, we've got Pellaud making his way into sight. He is down low. Look at that mouth open. In Central America, we refer to that as going to the dentist. He is showing his teeth. That means he is showing a big effort out there on the course. So Pellaud now making that left-hand turn onto the pavement. We're going to see a big acceleration as he makes his way through, and it is going to be the final lap of racing. Look at that. The chase group is coming hard. Alexey Vermeulen leading that chase. Matt Beers, Keegan Swenson, all in tow there. So that gap has nearly evaporated. That explains the look back just a moment ago. Pellaud, his time in the sun here in America may well be coming to an end. Here comes our chase right now, and that is going to be Vermeulen on the front. That's going to be Dylan Johnson leading the charge through. Keegan Swenson, Matt Beers in tow. 22 seconds is the gap, and oh, how the tide has turned with one lap to go. Tim, walk us through what you see going on out there today.
Well, I say that see that risky move by Simon Pellaud. I mean, he's an unknown to both the riders and the course. He's out there just throwing it down. The attack that he did leading into the single track section before a lookout was just incredible. He was super fast. He doesn't know what kind of competition he's going to be up against. And I think the group dynamics in the back, they need to figure out if he's really the risk that they should use their matches to be able to bring back. Riding behind him, I can tell you, I'm using an e-bike. He's really hard to follow.
Well, that's a great update from Tim Johnson. He's going to get himself set to get back out there on course and continue to give us some phenomenal updates. So thanks, Tim, for keeping us in the loop for what's going on at the very front end of the race. Round number 1 of the 2025 Lifetime Grand Prix. We are turning our attention now back to the women's race. Right now we are looking at the chase, and Cecily Decker continuing to do a lot of the pace setting here in this group. We've got a very big group, and from the looks of it, things are pretty organized out there. Melisa Rollins looking very, very strong. We've also got Paige Onweller in that group, Lauren De Crescenzo, Caroline Rezin also in that group near the back. We know Haley Batten, that gap is continuing to grow, but the chase has not given up just yet. They are fighting. They want to try and reel this thing back in. They know now is the time. They've got to stay on the gas. They can't let this leash get any longer if they want to contend for the top spot on the podium right now. So again, Cecily Decker absolutely laying down the power. Right now we're back with the men's race. Simon Pellaud still off the front, still solo. That chase has to be coming. Tim, what do you see out there?
Well, I'm mostly just impressed with how long that Simon has been off the front like this, because he's been able to push 35, almost 40 miles an hour this entire descent away from Laguna Seca by himself. You know, the group, just as a larger group of riders, has momentum, so they're going a little bit faster. But Simon showing no let up. He's just starting to climb back out. So this descent, you see the Swiss rider with Pellaud, you know, he lives part of the year in Colombia. He has a Colombian wife. They just were married last December. So signing up for the Lifetime Grand Prix series and saying, I'm going to come to America and race is really tough to be able to do. It's a huge commitment. But I just got to say, I'm so impressed with how he's riding the race dynamic from behind, deciding who's going to be chasing, who's going to be sitting back. You know, this is the kind of situation, Bill, where in a typical road race, that decision will often give riders in the back the chance to really rest. You know, they might come back in 20 minutes, 30 minutes and feel like $1 million because they've been sitting on the group. But Simon has no one to sit on. You know, this kind of a climb, I was just out there. It's really hot. It is very steep, and, you know, it's the first of two. So they have to be able to get over this thing close to Simon, and then they might be able to stand up and go. That's Paul Voss, German national gravel champion there on the back. Looks like he's having a hard time holding the pace. But on the front, I'm going to guess that's the typical Matt Beers or Alexey Vermeulen. I see, you know, the way that Alexey rides is very familiar to us. He's just got so much tenacity when he's on the front. And Brendan Johnston, he has really looked good throughout the day. But, you know, Matt Beers, Keegan Swenson both look like they are the favorites. Pete Stetina looks like he's just popped off the back. He was having a hard time on lookout and had to really fight to get back up and over that the last flat section. But here we are into the steepest parts. Alexey on the front, Beers right behind, and Keegan all the while just ready to pounce.
We've got Johnson just behind. You can see Keegan, as you said, Keegan, we've only talked about him in terms of he's been in all the lead groups per se, but he's not really ever been the front rider across any of the timing pads. So he's done a good job of kind of staying out of sight in those groups and really conserving that energy.
Yeah, you know, Bill, another person that I see is Alex Wild. So he's in a light-colored jersey, sitting about 5th position. He just looks like he's about to go around Keegan now, and they're going to be up there right at the top of this climb is really kind of the reset buttons.
We are back live with the women in a big move unfolding right now. Haley Batten, silver medalist in the Olympics, is making a big move off the front right now.
You know, Bill, I don't know how often we get to have a fresh Olympic medal out on course. I know I saw she had posted earlier this week she was building a gravel bike really for the first time. You know, she is a mountain biker at heart and definitely stole the show at the Paris Olympics in 2024. Deciding to race here. You know, she's got her partner in the men's race in Sean Fincham, and she's out there just absolutely hammering. We haven't had a big, huge attack really since last year with Melisa Rollins at Big Sugar, who was able to go to the line with Sofia Gomez Villafañe, but you know, her specialized teammate, Haley Batten, she's really putting on a show.
She's got a 48-second gap right now, Tim, over the next group of about, it looks like 9 riders or so. So Haley Batten looking very, very strong out there right now.
You know, I love to see this, Bill. This is a really solid group. Obviously, some of the best riders in the world. Haley proving that fact that she's got that Olympic medal, but she looks rock solid. This is one of the earlier climbs coming back towards here in the Laguna Seca, and I just love seeing this effort out there. You know, the riders in the group chasing. You have Cecily Decker, the American rider wearing the Padre Mall kit. We have Melisa Rollins, the Leadville winner from last year, and the winningest women's rider of all time is Sofia Gomez Villafañe. Hayley Preen, the South African, you know, Bill, she just got back from winning the South African Gravel National Championships just on Sunday. So that was barely 4 days ago. Caroline Rezin is one of the younger riders that we have in the field. I've been able to ride with her, and I got to say, she's got a huge engine, lots of talent. Great to see her putting it together. Paige Onweller, you know, she burst onto the scene, winning Big Sugar that first time around in the Grand Prix series, and then the Australian national champion Courtney Sherwell, just with Lauren Stevens and our American national champion Alexis Scarta. So that is quite a chase group behind.
With so much firepower behind, that's got to be a tough call for our current leader right now. And tactically speaking, a lot of those, when you've got so many strong riders in one chase group, often what happens is not so much a concerted chase, but a lot of looking around and maybe a lot of little of attacks out there. And Tim, certainly you know from your days racing that sometimes that rhythm, that chasing rhythm of chase, catch, works really better for the solo rider to keep that steady rhythm. And I'll tell you, so much firepower, they're going to have to get organized pretty soon. Otherwise, Batten may well ride clear with this right now.
Yeah, you can say roller coaster again, Bill. This is such a hard course to get a rhythm on. If you are alone, it feels better when you're on a climb. You know, no one is really stretching your elastic band, but on the downhills and the flats, you just know that a group behind is going to be making up time.
Taking a look at our Stello by Dexcom elevation profile, we can see the leaders are just getting into that final climb to top out at the very top of the course before they descend down into the raceway to conclude lap number 2 here. Decker very strong. She's if there was an award for the person on the front the most today, I think Cecily Decker would win that award hands down as she continues to drive that train. 2 riders, I believe that is Lejeune on her wheel, as they now separate themselves probably by about just 3 or 4 seconds. It looks like that might be Gomez Villafañe on the chase now, recognizing the danger, but certainly about 6 riders have split off. So about 4 or 5 riders have now been maybe shown the back door in that chase group. And this could be the moment that you were alluding to, Tim, where you have to stay present in the race. You can't let that race get up the road, because then your chances just completely go out the window. So a couple riders really taking this by the reins right now.
Yeah, that once again, that is just such a strong push. It looks like Sofia Gomez Villafañe is having enough of sitting in the group and wants to get out. You know, she's bringing herself back up to third place in the group. Going to go right by Lejeune and onto Decker's back wheel. So this is one of the flatter sections, Bill. You have a second to breathe. You can kind of spin out the legs just for a second before you have to go right back into it. And excuse me, that is Melisa Rollins in second wheel on Decker. And so now we know why that climbing was so strong. She's got her new team. She's with Live Giant this year, the Live Gravel Collective. And she's really put herself, I think she's going to be one of the best overall contenders that we have this year once again. She finished last year on a high with a great race at Big Sugar, but Melisa Rollins really setting herself up for a great finish today.
Current situation at the end of lap number 2, which of course means 1 lap to go. Haley Batten rolling through with an unbelievable 3-minute and 38-second gap over the chasers. That is going to be Cecily Decker and Sofia Gomez Villafañe. Another 20 seconds back, Hayley Preen, along with Melisa Rollins, Alexis Scarta, and Paige Onweller all in that mix, followed by Lauren Stevens, another 30 seconds back. But the big story right now, Tim, it is all the Haley Batten show. 3 minutes and 38 seconds. I mean, that's a pretty significant gap. I'm hard-pressed to think that is going to come back over the remaining 30 miles right now.
And going away and adding to it. I felt like every single pedal stroke she had on the lookout, she was adding a few seconds, and she's just going to continue. You've got somebody with such an incredible background pedigree, coming off of an amazing 2024. There is really nothing that's going to stand in her way. Looking at our chase group here, we've got Cecily Decker in the brown and powder normal. Sofia Gomez Villafañe, she looks like she is having a bit of a hard time. She's normally so incredibly strong, fluid, right off the front, and just making everyone else chase her. But I feel like she's got her matches with her right there. Cecily Decker, really, really strong today. And Lauren, you were with Cecily Decker and Sofia Gomez Villafañe. How were they getting along? What was happening in that group?
Yeah, it was really interesting when Haley went. This was the first time that we've seen Sofia on the other foot, right? So it's usually been Sofia always off the front. She's always been the aggressor. And here she is now being on the other foot and being like, wow, what does this feel like, huh?
Yeah, what do I do to get back up there?
And let me tell you, she wasn't panicked, but I also haven't seen a big jump, or I don't want to say a lot of spark out of Sofia, but you haven't seen really pop a lot of snap out of her today.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, and Cecily has just been riding the front of this race all day. It's like, again, everybody's like, well, why would you do that? But at the same point, no one else is riding. Otherwise, it just kind of sits up. Melisa was rolling through, and when they were all together, Haley was up there just as much. Paige Onweller was up there. And then, boom, when Haley Batten went, she was out of sight, you guys. It was unbelievable.
That's awesome. What a great race. And, Cecily Decker, she has been showing that she's got the speed, she's got the power, she has this deep talent. And I think it was getting in the groove of the racing, getting in the groove of showing up week after week, being able to put together a big race. And here she is with the winningest woman on the series.
So we are back with an update on our men's race. They've been through the 81.4 mile checkpoint, so just inching their way close to home here, only about 8.5 miles to go. Simon Pellaud, it still shows him as having a little bit of a gap over Matt Beers, Alexey Vermeulen, with Keegan Swenson and Alex Wild and Brendan Johnston just a little bit behind. Yeah, this is going to be a critical point in the race right now. You see everyone kind of spread out, taking a look at each other. Somebody has got to take the reins right now, because Pellaud, every time they slow down, it's going to work in Pellaud's favor. Look at this. We've got a big move now coming. That is going to be Matt Beers finally laying down the power. This is crunch time right now.
Alexey Vermeulen responding immediately. He doesn't want to let Beers get up the road without him in tow. This is kind of a mixed match of who is the biggest and who's the smallest in this front group, but those two are going to work really well together. Keegan Swenson recognizing the danger and letting those two riders up the road. All the while, Simon is just out of frame. He is fighting his own fight, but looks like Vermeulen right to the front, Bill.
Yeah, look at that body language, Tim. Those shoulders really dropped, rocking in time with the pedaling cadence. He is going all in right now. They know that they've got a little bit of a gap over the rest of the chasers. This is their opportunity to try and go clear, try and make the catch, and get by Pellaud as quickly as they can.
I don't want to take any pulls with Beers. Look at that. He is just hammering so hard. They've only got probably 20 minutes left of racing from this point on. This is before they get back into the big climb of Lookout Ridge. But Vermeulen looking back, trying to see what the reaction is like within the group. I know that we've got a lot of riders who still have a dream of getting on the podium, but Vermeulen and Beers, perfect matchup right now. Those two are working really well together.
Yeah, Beers taking an exceptionally long pull on the front right now. Obviously, you can see by the speed, they're on maybe a slightly flatter portion right now, getting into a little bit of a tuck on this descent, and Alexey just hanging on for dear life right now, while Matt just takes a huge, huge pull as he starts to ride away. And look at this, Tim. The catch is finally going to be made. Pellaud's been off the front for nearly an hour, and it's all coming down to this moment. Beers going to be the first one to get by. He moves just a little bit to the right. Can Pellaud get on? This is going to be critical. If he can hang on to the rear wheel, he's going to try and recover best he can.
He's a superhero if he can do this. Come on. He has been out front for more than 2 hours today. There's no way he can hold that gap. Keegan Swenson still looking like he's been holding back throughout the day just for a moment like this. Brendan Johnston has enough to be able to respond.
Well, just like that, Brendan Johnston has been dispatched, and the 4 is now 3. Keegan Swenson on the front, and you can see that body language. He is really starting to put a little extra power in the pedals right now.
And Beers hanging on in third position, but he knows that he's got something deeper than the other two, and he just kind of needs to settle back in and just get over the top of this thing. Alexey Vermeulen, totally different approach. He wants to stick to that back wheel as much as he possibly can. Keegan Swenson, though, having nothing to do with those two and powering away, getting to the top of Lookout. You can see the wind in the grass on the side of this trail right now. They know that the day is coming to a close, and Keegan Swenson is taking off.
This is our move right here. Keegan Swenson taking a quick look back over his shoulder, and look at the real estate he has opened up very, very quickly on Alexey and Matt. Matt trying to go to the front, desperate to stay into contact. He knows that they can get over the top of the ridge. He can use his physical advantage on the downhill to stay in contention, but Keegan Swenson is no longer waiting for anyone. This is the move.
This is that downhill section heading back into Laguna Seca, Lauren, and I feel like if there's one guy who can hold high power all the way to the line, it's going to be Matt Beers.
No doubt, but he has a sharp right-hand turn, right? Then the climb across the gravel, and then he's got to come back up and over the corkscrew, and those are brutal finishes. It's just such a hard finish. It's not a roll-in, right? And then you've got all this downhill coming through, and then you've got the hard left-hand turn to the finish.
Yeah, it looks like it is. Keegan had already gone off the front before we came back on air. So it looks like we've got Keegan Swenson with a small gap over Matt Beers, and he is the one who's climbing corkscrew with a lead over Beers. This is going to be a brutal finish. Keegan Swenson, no stranger to winning here at Sea Otter. He has been coming here since he was a young mountain bike racer, lining up year after year, won all of the Life Time Grand Prix Fuego XLs, and looks like Keegan has a small gap over Matt Beers, but is that going to be enough to be able to get into this downhill before the finish?
Don't give Keegan any room at all, right? He's a shark, he's a tiger, he's a killer. This guy, if he knows how to win, it's definitely Keegan. Like, he's just always been a winner, and he always knows how to just put the dagger in and turn that screw. Just turn it, man. I don't even know. I don't have all the superlatives, man. I'm just getting them all.
Yeah, no, he's definitely got so much to go with, and this is the final turn back onto Laguna Seca. Bit of a flat section before the downhill into the finish area, and we've got Keegan Swenson. The crowd, I mean, Lauren, the crowd is nuts here at the finish. People are getting hyped. This is definitely a huge open to the season.
It's great. It is so great, and it is such a fast finish. Once he gets to the top of the racetrack, it's nothing but hard-packed sand all the way into the finish line.
Tim and Lauren, thanks for that insight. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our leader in sight. Keegan Swenson is officially around the final turn on the gravel directly across from the main stage here. It took him 2 big attacks on that final climb to finally shake the competition, and he is just about to make that final left-hand turn, transition onto the pavement for the final time today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're along the Bears, now's your time. Make a little noise. Meet the new boss, the same as the old boss. This is your winner, Keegan Swenson. Oh my, what a day out there on course. And I'll tell you what, if you question the effort, he literally just left it all out there on the course today.
And Swenson coming across the line. Matt Beers made up a lot of time on that final descent, able to finish in second place. Hard fought for all these riders in the top 3. There's Alexey Vermeulen making the final turn around the Bronco Wild Fund. It's great to have them as a supporter of the Lifetime Grand Prix. You know that Vermeulen is thinking about the overall points, what this means for his season, how he's able to stay in the fight. Peter Vakoch in 4th position in the blue, also making that final turn. You can tell that Vermeulen really had hoped to be in there for the win, but a strong finish nonetheless.
So it's, it's a testament to his mindset and his race prep that he's always here to fight and win for a podium.
Right. Yep. No, it's a great competitor out there. And we see the rest of the chase group coming through here at the finish line. That is Brendan Johnston, Australian gravel national champion. Once again, he won that title at the end of our fall, at the beginning of his spring down under. And returning back to America, he's no stranger to the Grand Prix. He's always up there, fighting so hard to get on the podium in 4th position. He's going to be able to do that today. Alex Wild, the Californian as well. It looks like Matt Wilson, very excited to be able to get through. And that's going to be a huge finish for another wild card. So that puts Peter Vakoch as a wild card rider as well as Wilson. So 2 riders in the top 5.
All right, we are here with today's champion, Keegan Swenson. Keegan, another victory, right? Another Lifetime Grand Prix, another victory. This one looked like it went down to the wire, kind of like last year. Walk us through how this race unfolded for you.
Yeah, it was kind of fast tactical racing all day, and that climb was really the only place there was much selection. So every lap it would kind of separate, but then it would kind of come back together, and the group just kind of got smaller and smaller. And I knew that was going to be the deciding factor of the last lap. So it's just trying to play the cards right and get in there and feeling half decent. So
when you made that last attack up the climb, looked like you got some separation pretty quickly, but then Alexey and Matt got back up to you. Was that were you a little concerned when they got back up to you again?
Yeah, putting a dig on that first steep bit, Matt's a big guy, so I knew it would hurt him the most there, and I had a feeling they would come back, but they were going to have to work quite hard to come back, and I just tried to rest a little bit so I could kick again on that last little lookout ridge pick there. So yeah, I was wasn't quite sure how it would play out when they came back, but just gave it everything I had that last climb, left us open up a small gap and make it to the finish.
And inside the chase group, we see Melisa Rollins on the front. She's been powering a lot of the chase so far. She's recovering from a couple broken wrists over the winter. You can see the brace that she's using on her left wrist to support that fracture. And, she's really starting off the season great. Just to be in for the kill here in 5th, top 5 position so far. Hayley Preen, the South African national champion, and Alexis Skarda, who is a former U.S. national mountain bike champion. And Paige Onweller here, tacked onto the back of this group. She's really doing one of the first races of her season after the cancellation of Mid-South. A lot of the riders having to reschedule things, but she's dipping into her pantry there on the top tube, trying to get some nutrition. Such an important thing to keep in mind when you are in a race like this with so much power that you have to put out for over 90 miles.
Lauren, we're back with Haley Batten as she is getting into the lower slopes of Lookout Ridge. And you know what? Her lead has continued to grow. The last time check we got was 4.5 minutes. But the way that she's riding right now, she is still building on that lead, don't you think?
Just powering. It's unbelievable. It's believable because who she is and what she's done. But I just can't believe that she's put this much time into someone like Cecily and Sofia, to be honest with you. It's freaking amazing.
Haley Batten is just putting on such a show for all the fans here at the Sea Otter Classic, and to start off this Lifetime Grand Prix Series stop with 2 incredible races today. We are all fortunate to be here watching this right now.
And Haley, not even looking back yet, still pushing forward, still wanting to just continue her effort. Like,
she's riding the drops.
Yeah.
She's ready to go. This is that long flat section into the descent, high speed, 35 plus miles an hour. And she's going to go past the feed zone. She's got so many friends and supporters. You know, when you're racing on the international circuit, to be able to come home,
yes,
drive to the race, take your bike out of the car and just go, get to it. She is really taking advantage of that. Haley Batten coming into the finish line. What a great race today.
Well, we're talking about one of the most experienced riders in the group today. She's been a multi-time national champion. She's been an Olympic silver medalist. So this is a rider that knows very well the feeling of crossing the finish line and putting in a big effort to achieve a phenomenal result. So Haley Batten now around the final turn on the dirt.
Here comes Haley Batten, just a couple hundred meters to go. Bunny hop that timing mat. She's going to take that left-hand turn right around the Ford Bronco.
Ladies and gentlemen, officially on the final straightaway here. High fives for the crowd, all smiles. Your 2024 Olympic silver medalist, now your champion here at Sea Otter. This is Haley Batten.
Fans here to welcome her back into the finish. Haley Batten, such an incredible finish. Our Olympic silver medalist.
Wow.
What a finish for Batten.
Yes, and look at that celebration. And then it's minutes back to second and third. But again, it'll be interesting to see how Cecily and Sofia play this last couple of miles coming into town, coming into the Laguna Seca Raceway.
Yeah, so this is that last little pitch down. It's a kind of a hard right-hand turn right here. It's really loose and soft. Sofia going on the outside. That is a tough position to be in, but there's only 2 more uphill sections before they get to the corkscrew. So it looks like Sofia still has some juice in those legs. Talking to the riders who had done the Cape Epic, it's such a big start to the season, but maybe her legs have really opened up. Matt Beer said he felt incredible today, and he was trying to hold it in so that he didn't use up those legs. Maybe Sofia's been really playing, possum all day, and she's ready to go to town now.
Well, Sophia's had such a good start, like you're talking about. She did so well at Cape Epic. She's also won BWR Arizona, and she also won Valley of Tears. So, I mean, if you look at all the athletes and how they've set up into this race, we've had injuries, we have sickness, but you've never heard any of that from Sofia. She's basically had like the perfect off season from what we can see, right? You never know what happens behind closed doors or what these athletes might not want to tell you, but I'll tell you, from race results, she's on fire already.
She sure is. And back to winning ways. I mean, to be undefeated for the season so far, whether here in North America or on the continent of Africa. But she's got Cecily Decker ready to fight. I don't know what the sprint really looks like for Cecily. Coming from a ski background, races a lot of skimo. That's not exactly a sprint sport. At the international level it is, but if you're just backcountry skiing, you are ready to go to town for the entire day. You're out in the backcountry, but just getting off onto the pavement, it looks like Decker had a hesitation. It's so deep there, Lauren. That's like 6 inches deep of really loose marbles. That is meant to catch race cars that are out of control as it descends the corkscrew. So no wonder she had a little bit of a moment there, but she's back onto Villafañe's back wheel, and Sofia looks like she's got her head down pushing hard.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting finish. Again, Sofia is very coy, very smart, knows how to play a finish where, yes, Cecily is kind of our unknown, right? I think they're got to be so exhausted. Whoever comes out of that turn first, in my opinion, is likely going to win because it's only 250 meters to the finish.
Oh, so look at that.
Will
an attack
Sofia,
right now.
Yeah, does Sofia go early? Does she go on the corkscrew like she's trying now? She's definitely putting Cecily under pressure right now, making a split.
That looks like it's going to be enough to break Decker's legs. She doesn't have an answer to that. A bit of a head shake. Looks like she's gasping just enough, but Sofia Gomez Villafañe standing up, pushing over that last steep pitch out of the racetrack before the descent. She has put 4 or 5 seconds into Decker already. That is the separation that's going to get her second place.
She's definitely going to have to stay on the pedals on this, over this little bit of a riser and all the way through to the finish, because Cecily never quits. This lady will come back after you time and time again. And this is a heck of a result for Cecily, no matter what, if she gets second or third. I mean, she was knocking on the door last year, had some bad luck, changed teams, changed everything, changed bikes. I'm excited to see what Cecily's going to do this year. And for her to be on the podium today is huge.
Totally agree, Lauren. Sofia Gomez Villafañe, very familiar with the top step today. She's going to be in second with a super strong finish. Cecily Decker just coming into view at the top of the screen, but Sofia's all alone here into the finish. You know, she has been first or second at so many Grand Prix events, whether it's on a gravel bike or a mountain bike. She shows her versatility, her deep reservoir of talent. She is the number one favorite in any race that she lines up in. And, you know, today she met her match in Haley Batten.
Yeah, she did.
Such a performance for Batten. But Sofia Gomez Villafañe starting off this season with another huge notch in that belt to be able to go for another overall series victory and the Lifetime Grand Prix.
I think Sofia should be very happy with this result today, and Cecily should be very happy with this result. Look, Haley Batten was on a next level, like what, and that's okay, right? Like again, we can look back. Sofia and Cecily are part of the Lifetime Grand Prix. Haley's not. So again, this is almost a win for Sofia coming now down through the straight.
Yeah, look at Gomez Villafañe coming across the finish line. Second position, waving to the crowd here.
Yeah, she'll take
Decker just behind. This has been a long, hard, hot day. 5 hours and 8 minutes for second position. And here comes Cecily Decker, her best finish in the Lifetime Grand Prix. Happy with third place.
I think so.
She's looking over. She's excited. And, you know, being with Sofia for the last couple of hours, chasing Haley Batten, you know, she spent a lot of time with the woman who's the best in the sport. Yeah. And as someone who's really still on her way up, we don't know how good she's going to get. So for her to be able to learn those kinds of things, spending time with Sofia, learning how she does it, she's going to be even better at the next race.
All right, we are with the winner, Haley Batten. Holy cow. You went so early. I don't know. I don't even know where to start with the questioning of like, because it was kind of mind blowing. Did you know that you were going to go when you went on that lap right before the single track or right at the single track?
No, I definitely had no race plan coming into this. This is my first gravel race, and I just kind of wanted to see how the riders were riding and working together. And I felt like they were hesitating a lot and not really in sync as a group. And so I thought that maybe if I surprised everybody, nobody would be expecting it. And, you know, I kind of hoped when I went, I attacked into the single track on lap 2, that maybe like a rider or two would be with me to like help keep it away. But, you know, I just pushed really hard. I knew if they hesitated for a second, I could probably keep it. And I just kept going. And I will say on the last lap, I regretted my decision. And it was, I was deep in the pain cave for sure. But yeah, it was a good race.
Really? Let's talk about the hurt a little bit, because we had heard from a couple of athletes, they were actually cramping on the last, coming up the corkscrew. Were you in any pain, that much pain? I mean, you just didn't look like it.
I like barely made it up that last climb. I think the whole last lap, I was deeply in pain. But I think that's a thing for me. I'm not scared of suffering, and I think that's why I went so early. I can lean into it. I can lean into the suffering and the pain, and I'm not scared of it. And yeah, I embraced that today, and I just dove all the way in.
Thank you so much for a fantastic day. Congratulations.
Yeah. You know, we just wanted to take a look at what happened today, the results, and what to look forward to for the rest of the year. So let's take a look at how these races came down. Top 10 from today's race. Incredible finish for the men. Keegan Swenson putting in such an incredible finish to be able to get to the line just ahead of Matt Beers. really, really close. Inside of 10 seconds, Beers is really chasing him down that final hill.
Right, and Alexey Vermeulen pushing so hard those last couple of climbs coming through into the finish is just unbelievably hard racing.
And some of the non-Grand Prix riders, Peter Vakoch, the Czech rider, he was in the Grand Prix last year, had a really good result today in fourth. Brendan Johnston, the Australian national champion, Alex Wild from California. And then really the story of the top 10 is Matt Wilson, a Kiwi who was unexpected in that top 10 group, but he had some great words of encouragement from Keegan Swenson. Paul Voss, German national champion. Pete Stetina, longtime Grand Prix rider, who is able to hold on for 9th place just ahead of our MVP.
Yeah, Simon. Oh, my gosh, what a day for Simon.
And let's take a look at the women here, Lauren.
Haley Batten coming out with a huge win today, but unfortunately not part of the Grand Prix series, which keeps Sofia Gomez Villafañe on that top step, followed by Cecily Decker. Again, what a great race by the two of them coming into the line together. Hayley Preen also coming in fourth right here with our South African national champ. Stellar day for her. Alexis Scarta, Melisa Rollins, Paige Onwiller, again, just outstanding results. Courtney Sherwell, again, new to the Lifetime Grand Prix. Good to have her here. Lauren Dickersenzo having a tough day out there today, but I know we will see her in the top 10 continuing on into the Lifetime Grand Prix, rounding out the top 10 with Carolyn Rezin.
For Tim Johnson and Lauren Hall, I'm Bill Ellison. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. It's been a great day of racing, but we are officially wrapped up with stop number 1 of the 2025 Lifetime Grand Prix here at the Sea Otter Classic. We will see you at the next stop, Unbound in Emporia, Kansas.